Life is full of journeys, and many of mine have been under the surface, literally. As a retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral with over 35 years of service, I've spent months submerged, led missions from the ocean floor to 41,000 feet above the earth, and I've worked to protect our nation, both in national and international roles, in ways most people never see or have the opportunity to experience. One distinct journey that comes to mind early in my career was a trans-Pacific crossing to and from, on a special mission, 89 days of submerged time. But one of the most unexpected journeys that started for me right here in San Diego began about 4 years ago. And that is, as today, the CEO for Feeding San Diego, I find myself on a mission that is very different than anything I've experienced before. And it is to end hunger through food rescue. This is a journey that I never expected to take, and it's been one of the most profound and rewarding of my 46-year career. Founded in 2007, Feeding San Diego is the leading hunger relief and food rescue organization in San Diego County. And we are proud to be the only local partner to Feeding America. Our mission is simple but powerful: to connect every person facing hunger with nutritious meals by maximizing food rescue. The face of hunger could be anyone's: children, families, seniors, college students, veterans, and even active duty military families. Hunger does not discriminate, nor do we. Feeding San Diego helps anyone who has need. Last year alone, we distributed the equivalent of 29 million meals. Equating that to pounds, that's 35 million pounds of food. And that's equivalent to 875 tractor trailers full of food. Think about that for a minute. You see the picture of one tractor trailer. Now you see what 875 looks like on a screen. That is the amount necessary to move 29 million meals, making their way to families, seniors, military veterans, and children across San Diego. Our team, my team, works tirelessly toward achieving our vision of zero hunger in San Diego County. 38 million Americans, including 12 million children, go to bed every night not sure where their next meal is going to come from. Meanwhile, more than 92 billion pounds of food are wasted in the United States every year. That's the equivalent of 145 billion meals. Food that is perfectly good to eat, yet it ends up in landfills. It's staggering when you think about it. An organization called RedFed estimates that 1/3 of all the food produced in our country is never consumed. In San Diego County, 350,000 people, including over 100,000 children, face food insecurity on any given day. Food is a basic human right. Yet far too many of our neighbors face hunger, while vast quantities of nutritious food are simply thrown away. How can that be? In many ways, our culture has become accustomed to abundance, more food choices, larger portions, and constant access to fresh products. But this abundance has created an unintended consequence: food waste. While we enjoy a surplus of food, far too much of it never makes it to the table. Instead, it's thrown out, often perfectly edible. This waste not only deprives people of food, but it also harms the environment. They say that 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by food waste. When food is sent to landfills, as you see in the picture, it decomposes and generates methane, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. So in addition to its social impact, food waste is an environmental issue that we all feel because methane gas enters the atmosphere that you and I breathe every day. So what's the solution? The short answer is food rescue. Food rescue is an act of intercepting edible food that would otherwise be thrown away, and we redistribute it to those facing hunger. You might be surprised to learn that the food we rescue is the same food that you find on the shelf of any grocery store that you may go to. Fresh produce, dairy, meat, bread, high-quality, nutritious food that's just as good as anything on the shelves. In fact, it came off those shelves. Every single day, Feeding San Diego rescues high-quality surplus food before it goes to waste from grocers, retailers, wholesalers, yes, even Amazon Fresh, manufacturers, distributors, and farms. And we distribute it to people facing hunger, making sure that even the most vulnerable in our community have access to fresh, healthy meals. Last year alone, we rescued and distributed more than 31 million pounds of food here in San Diego County. Let's give you an example of how this works. Ruth Anointed World Ministries is a Feeding San Diego partner. They're participating in our partner food rescue program and picking up from 8 local grocers. They do this on a weekly basis with all 8. Instead of these stores throwing away the food that they've pulled from the shelves that day as they restock with fresh foods, Ruth Anointed World Ministries and many other agency partners are actually going into the backs of those stores on a schedule to collect the perfectly good food that has been set aside for donation. They safely bring it back to their facilities to be weighed, to be sorted, to be evaluated for food safety integrity, and then it is directly distributed into the community on the day that it is rescued. Currently, there are over 860 pickups happening every week in San Diego County. And Feeding San Diego is the broker. We facilitate the logistics. The transactions happen between our agency partner and the grocery store partner. We serve as the broker. We also rescue from farms and packing houses. These are from throughout the state of California. We salvage excess produce or product that does not meet grocer standards. Let's take an example of one. Avocados. The prime avocado is 8 ounces, has the nice polish and finish to it. That's what the grocer wants. Mother Nature has a choice in this. Often she will come up with something undersized, a little bit not quite right from its look, or the shape of it may not be appealing. That's what we rescue. We work with an organization called the California Association of Food Banks, who serve as a broker between farms and packing houses with 42 food banks throughout the state of California. We cover the labor to pick it, to pack it, and to have it delivered to us, so that we are getting 30,000 pounds of a particular fresh produce, pennies on the pound. Every week at our distribution center, we pull in between 5 and 9 tractor-trailer loads filled with fresh produce rescued from farms and packing houses that otherwise would have been plowed under or disposed of. We take that product, We glean it, we repack it, and we get it into distribution. What makes this work possible are the incredible partnerships that we've built with local farms, food businesses, and community organizations. These partnerships allow us to increase access to nutritious foods for people facing hunger, while also reducing the environmental impacts. Add to that our partnerships with our local volunteers. Last year alone, 13,000 unique people came to help lend their hands just at Feeding San Diego. Financial donors, corporate sponsors, and foundations. With that, you have a far-reaching ecosystem that supports our operating model. Feeding San Diego is pleased and honored to be named a United Nations Association Sustainable Development Goals Champion. And we align with 4 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's obvious, the first one, hunger. The second, equally visible, climate change. The third is the responsibility and consumption, where we are working as responsible citizens in working the subject of consumption of food that would otherwise go to waste. And lastly, as mentioned in the ecosystem that I was describing, we thrive with partnerships. Together, we are feeding people, not landfills, and protecting people and the planet. Every action counts. You can help in 2 ways. If you know someone who owns a food business, a restaurant, ask them what they do with their excess food. If you frequent a restaurant or a coffee shop, don't be afraid to inquire about their policies regarding excess food and how they dispose of it. Write to your elected officials and ask them to take action about food waste. Advocate. Secondly, you can get involved in the community. Get involved in organizations that address hunger in some way. You don't have to be the one repackaging or distributing the food. Any role in a nonprofit that benefits the community makes a difference. Just as we see in the Feeding San Diego network, most of our agencies, over 200 that we work with, their primary role is not hunger relief. It may be mental health. It may be homeless sheltering. Regardless, what draws people to the table? Food. So we stand in the background provisioning with food to those organizations, now allowing those people who are in need to be fed, and then they can have their attention riveted on the mission that they're attempting to solve. We all have the ability to be a connector, a rescuer, an agent of change. Together, through collaboration and support, we can make sure that no one goes hungry right here in San Diego. A young boy is walking along a beach covered in starfish that have washed ashore. As he tosses starfish after starfish back into the ocean, one by one, a man approaches and tells him, "You can't possibly save them all." The boy responds by picking up another starfish, throwing it back into the water, and saying, "It mattered to that one." This illustrates that even small acts of kindness can have a meaningful impact, reminding us once again that every action counts. Thank you.